In this question, there is a situation in which there are two identical balls, and ball A is moving with some velocity u. It is not given in the question, but we have assumed that it is moving with some velocity u, and it strikes this ball B, which is at rest. Now, after the collision, it is found that the ball B is moving with a velocity which is twice to the velocity of ball A after the collision. So we need to find out the coefficient of restitution. So first of all, we know that we have to conserve the momentum, and initial momentum is m into u, and it is equal to the final momentum, which is equal to m into v plus m into 2v. So 3mv will be equal to mu, and v will be equal to u by 3. Now the value of E is the relative velocity after collision upon relative velocity before collision. So the relative velocity after collision is 2v minus v, which is v, and before collision is u. And obviously v is equal to u by 3, so E will be equal to 1 by 3, because v is equal to u by 3. So the correct answer will be option number A. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, it is given that there are three balls A, B and C, and the mass of ball A and C is equal, and it is equal to the 4 times of mass of B. So let's suppose the mass of B is m, therefore the mass of A will be 4m and mass of C will be 4m. Now this ball B collides with ball C with some velocity v, and we have to find out the total number of collisions between the balls, considering that all the collisions are elastic. So first of all, let's suppose for first collision between B and C. So the momentum would be balanced, and hence m into v will be equal to 4m into v1 plus m into v2. I have supposed that the ball B will be moving with velocity v2 after the collision in the same direction, and the C will be moving with velocity v1 in the same direction. So the equation says that 4v1 plus v2 is equal to v. This is the first equation. Now the second equation would come from the definition of E, which is coefficient of restitution, and hence the value of E is equal to 1, and the relative velocity after collision will be v1 minus v2. The velocity of C would be considered to be higher, and the relative velocity before collision is v. So this v1 minus v2 is equal to v. This is the second equation. So we can just add up the 1 and 2, and adding 1 and 2, 1 plus 2, we would get that 5v1 is equal to 2v, and v1 is equal to 2v upon 5. This is the value of v1, and v2 will be equal to 3v upon 5, which can be calculated from equation 2. So this is in fact v2 would be equal to v1 minus v. So v2 would be equal to v1, which is 2v by 5 minus v. So v2 would be equal to minus of 3v by 5, which means after first collision, ball B would be moving in the backward direction towards A. Now this is the first part. Now for second collision between ball A and B. So B is moving towards A with velocity 3v by 5, and hence the momentum would be balanced. So I am considering that ball A would be moving with velocity v3, and ball B would be moving with velocity v4 in the same direction after the collision. So the initial momentum was m into 3v by 5, and this would be equal to 4m into v1 plus m into v, in fact 4m into v3 plus m into v4, where v3 is the velocity of ball A after collision and v4 is the velocity of ball B after collision. So cancelling this out, this will be v4 plus 4v3 is equal to 3v by 5. This is third equation. Now the value of E is again 1, and therefore it is equal to v3 minus v4, which is the relative velocity of a ball A with respect to B upon the relative velocity before collision. It was 3v by 5. So v3 minus v4 is equal to 3v by 5, and this is equation number 4th. So to simplify these two equations, we can add up them, and adding 3 and 4, we get that 5v3 is equal to 6v by 5, and v3 is equal to 6v by 25. And to calculate v4, we can use the relation that v4 is equal to v3 minus 3v by 5. So v4 is equal to 6v by 25 minus 3v by 5. So v4 will be equal to 6 minus 15, which is minus 9v by 25. Okay, so again this v4 is the velocity of ball B, which is again negative, which means that ball B is now moving towards ball C. But the ball C was moving with velocity v1, which is 2v by 5. So the current scenario says that this is ball C, it is moving with 2v by 5, and this is ball B, it is moving with 9v by 25. So we can see that this velocity of ball C is in fact greater than the velocity of ball B. So VC is greater than VB, and hence there would be no collision, no third collision will occur between B and C. Therefore, the total number of collisions would be only 2. So the first collision would be between B and C, and the second one would be between B and A. So this is the final answer. Let's move on the next question. In this question, it is given that this ball B and A has same mass and they are identical in size also, and this ball A is moving towards B with some velocity v, and this ball is in front of ball B. So A will strike B and B will strike the wall, and then again B will return and back and it will strike A. So we have to find out we have to prove in fact that all the velocities will remain, all the speeds will remain same just after all the collisions have taken place, and we have to assume that all the collisions are perfectly elastic. So this is a very simple question. We know that if two balls of same mass strikes each other elastically, then their velocities will interchange. So after first collision between A and B, the current scenario will be ball B will be moving with velocity v, and the ball A will be at rest. VA will be 0. Now this ball B will strike the wall and it will return back with the same velocity V towards the ball A, which is at rest at this time, and again for the third collision, after third collision between A and B, the A would be moving with velocity V again because velocities will interchange, and B ball B will be at rest. So which means that the speed of A remains the same and there will be no further collision because A will move far away from the ball B and B is not moving. So the speed of ball A remained same and speed of ball B remained same. So this was the fact which we have to prove. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, it is given that there is a ball of mass m which is moving with a velocity v. I am drawing the diagram first. So there is a ball of mass m which is moving with a velocity v and it makes a head-on collision with an identical ball which is at rest. So the velocity of this ball is 0. Now the kinetic energy of these two balls after the collision, this is before collision and this is after collision. So the kinetic energy of these two balls, let's suppose it moves with velocity v2 and this moves with velocity v1. So the momentum, so the kinetic energy of the system of these balls after the collision is 3/4 of the kinetic energy before collision. So we have to find out the coefficient of restitution. So first of all, we know that the momentum of the system would be conserved and hence the initial momentum is mv and the final momentum is mv1 plus mv2. And equating these two momentums, P initial and P final, this mv is equal to mv1 plus v2. So v1 plus v2 will be equal to v. This is the first equation. Now the second equation is the fact that the final kinetic energy is equal to 3/4 of initial kinetic energy of the system. So the final kinetic energy is half m v1 square plus v2 square and it is equal to 3/4 of half m v square. So cancelling out this half with half and m with m, this v1 square plus v2 square is equal to 3/4 of v square. This is the second equation. So we have to find out the coefficient of restitution. So if we square up the equation, first equation, so squaring the first equation, squaring equation 1, we get that v1 square plus v2 square plus 2v1 v2 is equal to v square. And the value of v1 square plus v2 square is 3/4 v square. So this is 3/4 v square plus 2v1 v2 is equal to v square and 2v1 v2 is equal to 1/4 v square. So v1 v2 is equal to v square by 8. This is the equation. This is 2 and this is 3. Now If we write v1 minus v2 whole square, then it would be v1 square plus v2 square minus 2v1 v2. And if we substitute all the values in this one, so v1 plus v2 whole square is 3 by 4 v square, and this is minus 2 into v square by 8, because v1 v2 is equal to v square by 8. So v1 minus v2 whole square is equal to 3 by 4 v square minus v square by 4. So this is equal to v square by 2, and hence v1 minus v2 is equal to v by root 2. Okay, so the value of E, which is the coefficient of restitution, and it is by definition is the relative velocity after collision upon the relative velocity before collision. So after collision the relative velocity is v1 minus v2, and before collision the relative velocity was I think v. So v1 minus v2 is v by root 2, and this is v. So the value of E will be 1 by root 2, and this is the final answer. Now let's move on the next question. In this question it is given that there is a 3 kg ball of which is moving with velocity 4 meters per second towards other ball of 8 kg which is moving with velocity 3 by 2 meters per second towards the first ball. These two balls strikes each other, and the coefficient of restitution of the collision is half. So we have to find out the following points. So we have to firstly find out the final velocities of the balls. So let's suppose that finally ball A and B, first we calculate the momentum. So the initial momentum is 3 into 4 minus 8 into 3 by 2. So the initial momentum is 12 minus 12, which is equal to 0. It means the initial momentum of the system is 0 and the center of mass is not moving initially. So let's suppose that after collision these balls starts to move in the opposite directions. Why I am considering the opposite direction is due to the fact that the final momentum of the system should also be 0. So its velocity is VA and this will be VB. So the final momentum is MB, which is the mass of ball B, which is 8 kg into VB, and minus mass of A, which is 3 kg into VA. So this would be equal to the initial momentum, and hence 8 VB minus 3 VA will be equal to 0, and 8 VB will be equal to 3 VA. So this is the first equation. Now the value of E is also given as half. So E is the relative velocity after collision, which in this case is VA plus VB, and the relative velocity before collision is 4 plus 3 by 2, and this is equal to half. So VA plus VB is equal to 2 plus 3 by 4. So this is equal to 11 by 4, and this is the second equation. We know that 8 VB is equal to 3 VA, and therefore I am substituting the value of VA, which is 8 by 3 VB. So 8 by 3 VB plus VB is equal to 11 by 4, and this is 11 by 3 VB is equal to 11 by 4. Therefore VB is equal to 3 by 4. and VA will be equal to I'm writing it here, that VA will be equal to 8 by 3 VB. So 3 by 4 into 8 by 3. So it is equal to 2. So the velocities of the ball after collision would be 3 by 4 and 2. Now let's move on the second question, which is to find out the impulse of reformation and impulse of deformation. So we know that impulse of deformation is the impulse just before the maximum deformation. We have already discussed that this fact in our theory video. So the impulse of deformation is equal to the change in momentum of any one ball. So let's calculate the change in momentum for ball A, and just before maximum deformation stage. So impulse of deformation will be the final. Let us calculate the in this question it is given that there is a solid iron ball of radius r and another iron ball of radius 2r. This ball A is moving towards B and B is stationary, and A strikes the ball B. The coefficient of restitution for the collision is given as 0.5, and we have to find out the ratio of their speeds just after the collision. So let us suppose that initial velocity of ball A is u, and after collision ball A in fact is moving with velocity VA, and ball B is moving with velocity VB. So we can find out the two equations by the momentum conservation and coefficient of restitution. So the initial momentum of the system is ma into u. Now let's suppose the mass of ball A is m, and therefore the mass of ball B will be 8m, due to the fact that the volume of ball B is 8 times to the volume of ball A, and therefore the mass of ball B will be 8 times to the mass of ball A, because they both are made up of same material, iron. So this is mu, the initial momentum, and the final momentum will be mva plus 8mvb. So mu is equal to mva plus 8mvb, and therefore va plus 8vb is equal to u. This is the equation number 1. Now the value of E is given as half. So E will be equal to the relative velocity after collision, which is Vb minus Va, and upon the relative velocity before collision, which is u, and the value of E is half. So Vb minus Va will be equal to u by 2. This is equation number 2. So adding up 1 and 2, we get that 9 Vb is equal to 3u by 2, and therefore Vb is equal to u by 6, and Va will be equal to u by 6 minus u by 2, and therefore Va will be equal to this is LCM is 6, and 1 minus 3 is minus 2 by 6, which is minus u by 3, which means that ball A will be moving in the backward direction, and we have to find out the ratio of their speeds. So Va upon VB. So VA is U by 3 and VB is equal to U by 6. So the ratio will be 2. So the correct answer will be C, option number C. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, a ball is performing to and fro motion in between these two walls, and the coefficient of restitution is E for any impact, and it is given that the average speed of the ball till the time it moves from wall A to B and again it comes back to wall A is 2 by 3V. We have to find out the coefficient of restitution. Now let's suppose this distance is D. So the time taken by the ball to move from A to B is T1 and comes back from B to A is T2. So this T1 time will be equal to D upon V, because ball is moving from A to B with velocity V. Now again when it will return back and towards wall A, then its velocity will be E times of V, because after collision the velocity will become E times. So the time taken T2 will be equal to D upon EV. So this average velocity is equal to the total distance, which is 2D, upon the time taken, which is T1 plus T2. So this is 2D upon T1 is D upon V plus T2 is D upon EV. So cancelling out this D with D, and this would be 2V divided by 1 plus 1 upon E, and this is equal to 2EV divided by 1 plus E, and this is given as 2 by 3 of V. So cancelling out this 2V and 2V, we can see that 3E is equal to E plus 1 and 2E is equal to 1. So E will be equal to 1 by 2. So the correct answer will be option number A. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, there is a super ball which is bouncing elastically between these two walls, which are separated by a distance of D. Now this super ball has a property that its velocity does not changes. In fact, its speed does not changes after any collision, and therefore it is moving with a constant speed V0 between these two walls. So we have to find out the time, in fact the force, average force exerted by this ball on any one wall. So let's suppose that this ball is on the verge of striking this wall and it is moving with a velocity of V0. Now it will bounce back from this wall, and let's suppose just after the time it will bounce back, it is T is equal to 0. Now this ball bounces back from the wall and it moves like that. Now it will go and it will strike on the second wall at this point, and it will again rebound like that with the same velocity, and it will again strike the first wall in this direction. So we have to find out the average force, and the average force exerted will be the change in momentum upon the time interval between two successive collisions on a single wall. So let us suppose that we are calculating the force on this wall. So we have to find out the change in momentum of ball and the average force exerted and the time interval between two successive collisions on this wall. So the initial momentum P initial of the ball was mv0 towards the left hand side, and the final momentum of the ball when it was striking this wall again, then it was mv0 but towards right hand side. So the change in momentum is final minus initial, and therefore it is 2 mv naught towards right hand side. Okay, and the time taken between the two successive collisions will be the distance traveled from right to left will be d, and from left to right will be d. So the total distance traveled will be 2d, and the speed will be v naught. So the average force exerted by this ball on the wall will be delta p, change in momentum, upon the time taken between two successive collisions, and hence average force will be 2m v naught upon 2d upon v naught. So it will be equal to m v naught square upon d. So the correct option will be option B. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, there are n cubical blocks which are lying on a smooth horizontal surface. The separation between any two adjacent blocks is L, and the last block, the first block, is being given a velocity of v towards the next block at t is equal to 0, and all the collisions are perfectly inelastic. Then we have to choose the correct option. So first of all, we have to find out the time at which the last block will start to move. So let us find out the time in which this second block will start to move. So let's suppose this time is t1. So t1 will be equal to L by v. Now after collision, the velocity of 1 plus 2 will be v of 1 plus 2 will be v by 2, because we have conserved the momentum, and the equation would be mv is equal to 2mv dash. So v dash, which is obviously v1 plus 2, is equal to v by 2. So the time in which it will strike the third block will be L upon v by 2. This is for the third block. Okay, now the velocity of 1 plus 2 plus 3 will be equal to v by 3, and therefore the time after which it will strike the fourth block will be equal to 3L by V. So this is the first time is L by V. Now the total time for the third block to move will be L by V plus 2L by V. Now the total time for the fourth block to move will be sum of all these three times. So the total time after which third block, in fact second block moves is equal to L by V. The total time after which third block moves is equal to 2L by V, and the total time after which fourth block moves is equal to, in fact this is 2L by V plus L by V, which is 3L by V, and the total time after which this fourth block will move will be 3L by V plus 3L by V, which is 6L by V. So you can see that that the total time after which nth block, which is the last block, will move. Now if we have to check this option, first option, then this t is equal to n into n minus 1 into L by 2v. So let's check that if it is equal to n into n minus 1 into L by 2v. Then for n is equal to 2, this t is equal to 2 into 1 into L by v, which is in fact 2v, which is equal to L by v. So the time after which the second block will move is L by v. Now for n is equal to 3, for the third block to move, this time will be 3 into 2 into L by 2v, which is equal to 3L by v, and we have already calculated that. And the time after which fourth block will move, that time will be 4 into 3 into L by 2v, so it is 6L by v. So we have already verified that time. So option number A is the correct option. Now this B is not correct, and for option number C we can say that the initial momentum is mv and the final momentum of the system will be nm into v dash. So the velocity v dash of the combined system when all the blocks would be moving combinedly after all the collisions would be v by n. So the option C, which says that center of mass of the system will have a final speed of v by n, is absolutely correct. So the correct options are A and C. Now let's move on the next question. In this question you can see there is a wire. On that wire there are beads which are arranged in such a manner such that there is a distance of d between each consecutive bead. Now there is a constant force which is acting on bead 1 till it strikes bead 2. So as soon as one will strike bead 2, the force will be removed. So we have to choose the correct option. And it is also given that all the beads are identical in masses and the shape, and also there is no friction anywhere, as well as all the collisions are elastic. So we have to choose the correct option. Now first option says the speed of the first bead immediately before and immediately after the collision with the second bead is this. So we have to find out the speed with which it is approaching to bead 2. So to calculate that speed, we need to calculate the acceleration. So its acceleration A will be F upon m, and its speed V will be u plus at, where u is the initial speed, which is 0 in this case, and acceleration is F by m, and the distance, in fact we have to apply the formula, that is v square is equal to u square plus 2as. So initial velocity is 0, u is 0, therefore v square is equal to u square is 0, and 2a is F upon m, and the distance is d. So v is equal to under root of 2fd upon m. So this is the velocity with which it will approach to the bead 2 just before the collision. And as we know that in the case of elastic collisions, the mass, when equal masses collides elastically, then their velocities gets interchanged. So the bead 2, which is at rest initially, will start to move with the velocity with which one is approaching towards 2, and the bead 1 will come to rest after the collision immediately. So the option number A is absolutely correct, and obviously option number B is incorrect. Now option number C says that the speed of second bead immediately after its collision with the third bead is 0. So this is also the correct option, because the second bead will transfer all of its velocity to the third one in elastic collision with that third bead. Now the average speed of the first bead is this. So average speed, V average, is the total distance traveled upon time taken. So the distance traveled by the first bead is d, because it is approaching from a point which is at a distance of d far away from the bead 2, and after collision with bead 2 it comes to a permanent rest. And the time taken by that bead 1 to cover that distance d can be calculated by s is equal to ut plus half at square. So s is equal to d, u is 0, and acceleration is f upon m, and this is time. So t will be equal to 2df, in fact 2d m upon f whole under root. So this is the time taken. So the average velocity will be d upon this time taken, and this time would be under root of 2dm by f. So this would be root of f upon 2dm, which is the option, in fact root of fd upon 2m, which is the option number D. So D is also the correct option. Now let's move on the next question. In this question you can see that there are two balls A and B which are moving in the same direction. So there could be two cases. One case is drawn as shown, that A is behind B, and the other case will be the fact that B is behind A, and the mass of A is Q, in fact M, and the mass of B is PM, where P is some number, and A is moving with some velocity QV while B is moving with some velocity V. Now after collision A comes to rest and B is moving with some unknown velocity VB. But if we consider the second scenario in which A is ahead of B, then A would not come to rest after collision in any case. So this is not the correct scenario. So the correct scenario is only the one which I have already drawn. So A is behind B, and due to the fact that they are colliding, then it is necessary that velocity of A, which is QV, should be greater than V. So Q should be greater than 1. This is very important fact which I am highlighting initially. Now we have to choose the correct options. The coefficient of restitution is given as E, and if we balance the momentum, then we can write that initial momentum is P initial is mqv plus pmv, and P final is pmvb, and P initial is equal to P final. So mqv plus pmv is equal to pmvb. So cancelling out this mass m with m, and v into q plus p is equal to pvb. So vb is equal to v into q plus p upon p. This is first equation, and now this is the second equation. Now we have to write down the definition of E, which says that E is equal to the ratio of the relative velocities after collision upon the relative velocities before collision. So after collision the relative velocity is Vb, and before collision the relative velocity is Q minus 1 into V. Okay, so this is equal to E, and if I substitute the value of Vb, then it is Q plus P upon P into Q minus 1. This is the value of E, which is correctly matched with option number A. So option A is one correct option. B is obviously incorrect. Now we move on option number C. So we can see that this E is always either less than or equal to 1, except for those in cases of superelastic collision, but this is not the case of superelastic. So E would be always less than or equal to 1. So this Q plus P, in fact I am writing it here, Q plus P upon PQ minus 1 should be less than or equal to 1, and hence we have to find out P in terms of Q. So Q plus P is less than or equal to PQ, and this is PQ minus P, PQ minus P, and this Q this is Q common P minus 1 is greater than or equal to 2P. So this we can find out for Q. So P minus 1 upon 2P is greater than or equal to 1 upon Q, and I'm writing it on the next page that P minus 1 upon 2P is greater than or equal to 1 upon Q. So you can see that. So this is 1 upon 2 minus 1 upon 2P should be greater than or equal to 1 upon Q. Now we have to find out the Q in terms of P. So 1 by 2 minus 1 by Q should be greater than or equal to 1 upon P, 2P. And taking the LCM, Q minus 2 upon 2Q should be greater than or equal to 1 upon 2P. Now cancelling this 2 with 2, this P should be greater than or equal to Q upon Q minus 2, which is the option number C. So this is also the correct one. Now for option number D, we know that Q is greater than 1. We have already discussed this fact that Q is greater than 1. Then only collision is possible, because velocity of A should be greater than the velocity of B before collision, because A is moving behind the B. So Q should be greater than 1. This is the first important condition. Now we know that if Q is equal to, I am writing the Q in terms of P. So this Q is equal to, Q should be greater than or equal to 2P upon P minus 1. Q should be greater than or equal to 2P upon P minus 1. And if Q should be greater than 1, so Q should be positive always. So if in this case P is less than 1, then Q would be negative, and this is not the case. So P should be also greater than, or in fact it should be greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so this is the case. So the D option is also the correct one. This question was the question of Olympiad Stage 1 2017. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, it is given that it was found that if neutron suffers an elastic collinear collision with deuterium at rest, then the fractional loss of its energy is PD, while for the similar collision with carbon nucleus at rest, the fractional loss of its kinetic energy is PC. So we have to find out PD and PC. So most of the students make a silly mistake that they would excitedly take the option number A, which is 0, 0, by thinking that this is an elastic collision, so there would be no loss in energy. But obviously this is an elastic collision and there is no loss of energy for the system. But individually each mass can transfer their energy to the other mass. And it is asked in the question that we have to find out the loss of energy of only neutron, not for the system. So neutron will transfer some part of its energy to deuterium and carbon. So we have to calculate that fractional loss of kinetic energy of neutron in two cases. So initial kinetic energy of the neutron is, let's suppose, half mu square. I have assumed that neutron is moving with the velocity of u initially, and the mass of neutron is m. So the mass of deuterium will be 2m. And in this case the momentum will be m into u, and let's suppose the final momentum is mva, where va will be the velocity of neutron after collision, and the velocity of deuterium after collision will be vb. So this is mva plus 2m vb. So va plus 2vb will be equal to u. This is the first equation. And also this is a elastic collision, so vb minus va upon u is equal to 1. So vb minus va is equal to u. This is equation number 2. So if we add up these two equations, 1 plus 2, we get 3vb is equal to 2u, and vb is equal to 2u by 3. Now this is vb, and hence va will be equal to vb minus u. So va will be equal to minus of u by 3. So the final kinetic energy of a neutron is half m u square by 9. And the loss of kinetic energy will be initial minus final, and therefore the loss will be equal to half m u square minus u square by 9. So delta k will be equal to, this is 4 by 9 mu square. And we have to find out the fractional loss. So fractional loss will be delta k upon k initial, which is 4 by 9 mu square upon 1 by 2 mu square. So it is equal to 8 by 9, and 8 by 9 is approximately equal to 0.89. So from analyzing the options, we can see that the correct option will be option number 3. But to calculate the same thing for carbon, we know that the mass of carbon is 12 m, and let's suppose this neutron is moving with some velocity u, and after collision the neutron is moving with velocity va, and this carbon is moving with velocity vb. So balancing the momentum, mu plus mu is equal to m, and this is 12m, mva plus 12m vb. Cancelling m with m, u is equal to va plus 12 vb. And by definition E, the coefficient of restitution, which is equal to 1, it is equal to vb minus va upon u, and this is 1. So vb minus va is equal to u, and by adding these two equations we get 13 vb is equal to 2u, vb is equal to 2u by 13, and va will be equal to vb minus u. So va will be equal to 2u by 13 minus u. So va will be equal to minus 11u by 13. So the initial kinetic energy, which was half mu square, the final kinetic energy of neutron is half m 121 u square upon 169. So delta k upon k initial is 1 minus k final by k initial. So 1 minus k final upon k initial will be 121 by 169, which would be approximately equal to 0.28. So therefore the correct option will be option number 3. Thank you.